What's going on, everybody? SuperSaiyanPaul here, back at it again. I'm joined by the one, the only legendary Unreal Entertainment Gaming.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me, man.
No problem, man. And today we're going to be discussing a very interesting character in the Dragon Ball Super universe right now. It's going to be about Kefla and where she stands and her importance in the tournament right now and her role in everything that really kind of brings into fruition what her purpose was the entire time and why her power scaling was really out there. Like, some people say it's all over the place and some people say that it's kind of fair to what...
Controversial at that, yeah.
Very controversial from start to finish, and mainly because I would say Kale being a part of the fusion and rivaling gods. But we're going to start this off. So the main thing that where this all started was when Kale went legendary Super Saiyan. When we saw that form originally in the teasers, we expected something to be along the lines of like maybe where Super Saiyan 2 are on par with Broly. We did not expect it to go... I don't think anybody expected it to match Super Saiyan Blue and beyond. And the reason for that is because it was mixed. Because for Goku to have a real challenge and to have them have like a real foe, you needed something of that power level. But at the same time, it's just still Super Saiyan, and they really mixed and matched everything with the power scaling, especially even before that with Android 17 and that type of thing with Super Saiyan Blue matching it. It got really weird with that. But people are saying that why is Kefla so strong right now? Why does she deserve to have this much power? I mean, we could have easily seen other characters do it, but why is she still matching god level power in Super Saiyan? Like, does this make sense?
I mean, like, if I had to give my two thoughts on this, like, people are gonna complain and saying, well, it doesn't make sense, this and that. Like, granted, they're given everything early. I accept that. Like, I agree. The girls are getting everything way too quick, and they're being used as a ploy to give Universe 6 the advantage. But it's also giving Goku a reason to tap back into UI in order to fight Jiren later on, because if you have a brain, you would know that those two are going to fight eventually again. But of course, if Goku fought him now, he'd get annihilated. So it's only a matter of like introducing a concept to where he needs somebody to push him again to achieve that power. Now, in terms of Kefla, right, do I agree with her being this strong, considering it being only in base thus far? I mean, look at it like this. What about Vegito when he first merged? And we saw Vegito in base beat up Buhan, let alone transforming into a Super Saiyan and then handling him from there. Did anybody complain? Who's to say? Because the internet really wasn't alive during that time. Or at least it was, but YouTube wasn't. So, also looking at it from a standpoint where Goku Black fought Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta in base form. Did people complain? Surely, I mean, they did. But, you know, there was a reason behind that in the idea that he has gotten so much stronger that he discovered a counter to Super Saiyan Blue, and that was Super Saiyan Rose. Now, for this, I really doubt that Kefla is going to, I guess, go the distance. I mean, it kind of sucks because the spoilers reveal that she is going to fight UI Goku. Spoiler alert. And it looks like Goku does beat her, but he does burn out. He doesn't finish the fight. As soon as he dodges all of her attacks and he fights back, he unleashes a direct Kamehameha, you know, from point blank range. So I really doubt that she's going to survive this. Even if she does, I think that she's going to be severely damaged. However, it did say in the spoilers that Goku's going to use UI, and she's going to counter that by also powering up. This may be the long-argued Super Saiyan 3 transformation that people wanted to see, or at least were, you know, guessing that it was going to be Super Saiyan 3 based on Super Episode 100 and Super Episode 114 and 13's foreshadowing. So it only makes sense for her to go that far. Do I think she's going to be stronger than Blue? Sadly enough, she is. I mean, we've seen other characters be able to rival Blue. What about Hit, right? People tend to forget Hit was able to rival Blue momentarily in the anime. In the manga, not so much, but in the anime, he did, and that was based on skill set alone. He knocked out Vegeta. He fought Goku. You know, people can't argue with that. Same thing applies with 17 when he fought Goku. He was relative to Blue form, depending on if you want to lowball it or you know, just highball it. Depends on where you stand. But as a whole, do I agree with the concept? It's an interesting concept of fusion, because now the other gods are like, oh, can we fuse our fighters too? So seeing her here, it's going to be different. And I feel like a lot of people don't like her because, oh, she's a female. And they're overlooking the fact that she has something to present. Do I agree with her being so strong? I mean, again, no, because we saw what the females did as individuals. And granted, they come from different parallel worlds. I mean, they adapt differently. They transform and fight differently. Kale was able to hold off against, you know, Goku several times in her own right. Whereas in, Caulifla was adapting, but not, I guess you could say, as much as Kale was, because Kale has something about her that just puts her, I think, above Caulifla in my opinion. But this fusion is going to be interesting because I definitely want to see UI Goku smash her out the water. And Super Saiyan Blue Goku is going to be interesting because a lot of us we're very familiar with how strong Blue Goku is, especially when it comes to feats. But I don't know. I mean, one of two things may result here. Number one, she burns out the fusion and she gets separated, and thus resulting in her getting wrung out. Or if the fight with UI Goku does drag on and she becomes relatively weaker, someone else can just capitalize. But in terms of people saying, oh, you might as well just have her fight Jiren, no, you're crazy. Because Jiren would destroy her. I mean, that's not even a question. But do I agree with it? I mean, it's fun. I mean, people tend to suck the fun out of the show, man. Even though I said this in my videos before, back in July, turn your brains off for this tournament because there's going to be so many things that are going to happen that isn't going to make sense. And granted, Toei's running the show, so it's whatever they want to do. Obviously, it's for merchandise and sales purposes, but in terms of her as a character, again, look at Vegeta when he fought Buhan. That was the power gap there was huge. There was a clear-cut difference, but did it make sense for the time being? I mean, you took Goku and Vegeta and you multiplied their powers, and thus having Vegeta when he smashed Buhan. So that was, to many people, that was okay, but it's not okay for these two now, who are stronger than Goku and Vegeta were back in Z, to fuse and create a fighter stronger than potentially half the fighters here. It's like, come on, man. But I get where people are coming from. The girls as individuals are given everything too early, and that's where I feel like, people are mad and they disagree on, which I agree too. It's like, come on, stop giving them Super Saiyan 1 and 2 so quickly. Like, our fighters had to spend years achieving that. But in terms of this fusion, man, one of two things are going to happen. Either A, she's going to get knocked out in her fused state while she's weakened by UI Goku, or ultimately down the line she's going to get so strong to the point where she's going to defuse, and then we're going to have to find out what happens from there.
I honestly think she has no chance whatsoever against UI Goku, because...
No. The spoilers clearly hint that. I mean, as she attacks Goku, he counters everything, which forces her in creating, much more ferocious attacks, but then ultimately he hits her with the point-blank Kamehameha.
Because that would be the most risky fight they could have ever done, because with all the hype around UI, if she potentially... really puts a beating on UI, it kind of kills the hype because of how fast they built her up. And the thing is, with my opinion on the subject here, a lot of people are pissed off at, well, some people hate it because it's a girl, some people hate it because they're getting their powers so fast. My opinion on this is that back in Dragon Ball Z, Goten and Trunks did have Super Saiyan. They were using it as children's playthings. And that's where it's kind of fair, but at the same time, to have this much of a power boost, especially on Caulifla's side, because she wasn't as strong as Kale in 20 minutes of time, that's where a little bit of the problem and hate come for me. But the other side of the spectrum thing is that everything that they've done with these two characters is smart, but sometimes it can seem stupid, because they're powering up so quickly, it's grabbing everyone's attention, which is both bad and good. Some people hate that they're not having enough depth towards the transformations and they're just getting handed things like this, but at the same time, it's so iconic to the fact where Kale represents Broly. It's two female Super Saiyans. They're getting strong enough to challenge Goku. They fuse. They introduce fusion into this tournament. The entire spotlight is on them right now. And not only are they introducing fusion to this tournament and bringing everything to a new level, they're giving Goku something to train on while in his UI form. They bring so much to the table that if you guys actually look at it in a bigger perspective, they've actually made this tournament way better than it was supposed to be. Because if they were just regular Super Saiyans, like Super Saiyan 1 and 2, you know how boring Universe 6 would have been if Hit was just the main character, once again, taking over the spotlight? That's why they ringed him out first, because these two have so many small traits that build up into some really, really outstanding qualities that can't really be matched by anything. They're the most marketable characters in that arena. Most promotional things besides Goku's UI form and Jiren. Honestly. With all those factors given. And
I feel like if I had a weigh in here, people are going to complain and saying that, oh, I want them to be wrung out already. Of course you do. But at the same time, it's like, she's still better than Brienne. She's still better than, the Universe 3 fighters. I mean, Universe 4, who hasn't introduced Daemon yet. So it's like, despite you having to be angry because you're not getting information or you're not getting any details, to that I would say wait until the manga comes out, because you already know Toryotaro is handling that by himself with Toriyama, so you already know that portrayal is going to be very different. But at the same time, people are complaining about saying, well, Goku's not, he doesn't have a challenge, and now that he has an opposition that surprisingly enough is stronger than him, people are crying out, ass pull or whatever. And granted, yes, to an extent, the power-ups and the adaptabilities are ass pulls for the girls because they're given too much too early. But the fusion isn't, I think, because Champa came in prepared. I mean,
he did come in prepared, and I think a lot of people are hating on it too because they just completely disregarded Kava. Kava doesn't get shit in this tournament basically. Like,
no, and yeah. I disagreed with how he got Super Saiyan 2, and then instantly in that same episode he got wrung out. Now I agree with Frieza doing it because I mean it only makes sense. But the fact that he got it and then as quickly as he got it, he wrung him out. I was like, okay, so what's the purpose of giving him Super Saiyan 2 then? Just to defeat some fat girl from universe number 4? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Really fodderized him, but they really made Kale and Khalifa the face, and then they united them into one, and all this hype is built around them. I think with all the things that people view as mistakes, it still built the right amount of hype to really get this fight going and really give a platform for Goku to get this UI thing under control, because he's not going to use it against Jiren. He's going to walk into that fight prepared, and this is probably the most perfect enemy in the ring right now, second to none, besides like Toppo or anybody else like that, to train on. Honestly, this is where all the hype's at, and I feel like it makes sense when you look at it like that. But if you look at the time limit and how fast and how unemotional some of it was, I can see where some of the hate's coming from in that perspective, though. At the same time, I don't hate on them because they're girls, and I don't hate on them for like small reasons like that. I just kind of feel bad for Kava, and the fact of the matter is that it kind of felt like some of it was handed to them. Kale's ability was an ass pull, though. Like, being that strong right off the start was an ass pull, but it's necessary, so I can't completely hate on it.
I mean, I would have to say wait and see how the fight drags on with Goku, because even though I agree with the concept of where people are just like, okay, why is it them and why not Hit? Hit is an extraordinary character. Like, he's awesome, and I think that his skill set, his time cage, everything that they brought to the table with him, it made sense. It was cool. I mean, we're very familiar with him as a character from the Universe 6 tournament, so that's why people were just like, all right, well, we want more of him and, you know, less of everyone else. But it's more or less to introduce Jiren as being like that guy that's going to pose a problem for everybody. They needed to ring somebody out that was a top tier character for them to establish that. They're not going to do it to Frieza because he's being saved. They're not going to do it to Vegeta because the whole world will go crazy. So it's like they needed someone as a sacrificial lamb to give to Jiren to prove to everyone else that he is that guy and you cannot mess with that guy. And unfortunately enough, it was Hit. But here, I would have to say the one person I would love to see fight them and possibly ring them out, just to give that character justice for, like, in terms of development, would be Frieza. I would love to see Frieza be involved in fighting them, in ringing them out. I feel as if it goes against his, well, it goes for his character as he hates Saiyans, and I feel like to further the plot, it would only make sense for him to get involved in either saving Goku or essentially, you know, doing something to them to where he fights them. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see. Before people hate on a character, you know, just let them develop. Just let them show something off to where it's like, okay, well, now I can make my judgment instead of just judging accordingly.
I feel like I agree with you there with the Frieza thing, but this is a side note. I feel like Frieza's been underplayed in this tournament so far.
He's being saved. I'm telling you right now. He's
saved. So far.
There's something for him.
But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys leave your comments down below with your thoughts and opinions on Kefla. If it's hate, leave it down there. If you like her and why, defend her down there. Smash that like button. Check out Alex's channel. Channel link will be at the top of the description. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Any closing thoughts, Alex?
I would have to say, I would love to see Vegito. That ain't gonna happen, but can you imagine? Oh my god, Vegito Blue, bro.
Vegito Blue, or maybe even in the farther end of the spectrum in the back.
That would be, he would be broken. He would be severely broken. Severely broken.
Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. We'll be seeing you guys next time.
Peace!
Peace!